Whatever. Coming up on today's episode, I was inspired by a TikTok that perfectly sums up being 38 weeks pregnant. So I'm going to share my personal late pregnancy challenges in Doom Scroll of the Week. Then I'm going to be joined by someone I may just have the least business talking to in the entire world. The former First Lady, Michelle Obama. We also have some NGL award news. Not Gonna Lie has officially won Best Emerging Podcast at the iHeart Podcast Awards. See, I told you guys to vote for Kayla. But thank you so much. I am honored. I will say, as much as I was rooting for Caleb, our whole team at Not Gonna Lie and Wave, they deserve this recognition. So this is not a me thing. This is my team thing. Queen Emma, Queen Nicole, Greg, Brad, they're the people who won this award. So I really, it's them. It's not me. I'm just the talking head. Moving on, this week I doom scrolled my way to the perfect TikTok that sums up what it's really like to be 38 weeks pregnant. And as someone who is currently right in that area, let's just say this hits. From John Hartman 1 on TikTok. Queen Emma, roll the clip.
I just cut my underwear off because I didn't want to take my pants off. And they are now in
That's
the trash.
perfectly logical. First of all, he thought he was doing something by trying to expose her and her really honestly smart and logical decision, okay? He thought that he was going to be like, oh, people, this is absurd. And I didn't dive into those comments, but I'm going to let you know my own comments. Power to you, girl. You can always get another pair of underwear, but the idea of having to bend over to get it down past your knees, we're not doing some wiggle nonsense to get them down without really like getting them over your knees, right? There have been some ridiculous times that I've had during pregnancy that are similar to this. I can't say that I've ever cut off my underwear. But I have had times where I will disappear and come back in like a robe or a dress, and Jason will be like, why did you just change your clothes? And I have to explain to him that the feeling of anything touching my belly in a restrictive way, aka a banned from pants or underwear, is too much to bear. This is also right around the time as women that we start Googling ways to induce labor. That's right. I've said it multiple times to anyone that I've spoken to. I'm doing sprints next week. You can't stop me. Fortunately for all the listeners, I have asked my OBs about the most common methods, stuff like drinking herbal teas, eating dates, acupuncture, spicy food. Oh, how I wish. I will say my OBs have explicitly told me no castor oil. So if that comes up on your induction suggestions, the ways to induce labor at home, opt out. I'm going to tell you the reason I was told not to do that. Very simple. A simple explanation. I'm not going to get into it. You know what I mean. I was told it makes labor messy. Ain't nobody got time for that. We're not doing that. Before I wrap up this segment, you're getting a doom scroll double feature because I doom scrolled my Instagram so hard I landed on a photo of me. It seems to have resurfaced. I posted this years ago, but an Instagram account at Kelce Brothers just reposted it with the caption, "You think Travis and Jason are impressive? Meet baby Kylie." That's me. That's legitimately me. When I posted this photo, I posted it with the caption, "A couple weeks ago, my grandmother asked me." Mind you, my grandmother at this point in her life had dementia. "How big were you when you came out?" I told her that I was 12 pounds 1 ounce and showed her the picture, and she laughed and said, "I knew you were huge." Thanks, meme. I weighed 12 pounds 1 ounce when I came out, and this photo is not distorted. That is genuinely how round my face was and how little visibility I had. I have been told that at the time of my delivery, the doctor who delivered me, I was his largest baby he had ever delivered. I have since been dethroned by a 14-pounder. I'm not bitter. I'm a little bitter. I want to talk to that mom. Really, I want to make sure she's okay. My parents, I don't think were very surprised that I came out that large. My sister was 9'5" and broke her collarbone on the way out. So the minute they told my mom that I was going to be bigger, my mom said, that's a forward exit. That's an exit. I want you to just whoop, slice me open. I'm pretty sure that Jason, I don't know about Travis. I'm pretty sure that Jason was 6 pounds, some ounces. He was a little bit early. I want to say, I'm going to get this wrong, but I've heard conflicting stories from Jason, Donna, and Ed. So I'm just going to go with the average. I would say he was about 2 weeks early. Don't quote me. I don't know about Travis either, but I do know that Travis was definitely like the chunk in all of their baby photos, was definitely like the chunkier kid, which clearly he stretched out, and same. It's that second kid. We're built tough. We had the same situation with Ellie. Wyatt was 8'7", Ellie was 8'13", and she was just built sturdy. And I swear that it was the universe trying to make sure that she could survive Wyatt. And I stand by that. And that does it for Doom Scroll of the Week. You guys know that I'm very passionate about charitable efforts. We've been trying to make sure that we can tie those into Not Gonna Lie. And I'm not gonna lie, the best we could come up with for a segment name in a pinch was Charity and Yap. That's right, I'm about to yap about a charity that I feel very strongly about, an event that is called the Night of Too Many Stars. And alongside that is an auction. Jason and I have submitted an auction item. You can actually win, I don't know if it's winning, but you can win an opportunity to go to dinner with Jason and I in Philadelphia. And if anyone knows about the food scene in Philadelphia, at the very least, you might be having dinner with two very dull individuals, but the food is guaranteed to be outstanding wherever we choose. The event, Night of Too Many Stars, is a live comedy show benefiting autism programs all throughout the country. It benefits the foundation Next for Autism, started by the Smigel family in New York. They have a personal connection to autism, and the funds raised support Next for Autism's national grants programs focused on initiatives that support autistic adults in the areas of work, home, and social well-being. Anyone who works with the neurodiverse community knows that one of the most difficult transitions to make is from school age, which oftentimes will be until an individual is 21 years of age, and transitioning them out of school into the workforce or living independently. So Next for Autism makes it a point to support that community. I have actually had the opportunity to attend the event last year. It was outstanding. The comedians that were there were so funny. And it was so encouraging to get into a room where so many people had dedicated their time and volunteered their humor for such an incredible cause, something that you guys know is very near and dear to my heart. And I am so happy to have another opportunity to support a foundation that is doing great work in the autism community. If you're in the New York area, the Night of Too Many Stars is Monday, March 31st at the Beacon Theater. Tickets are still available. We'll put the link in the description. And if you'd like to support a great cause, you can donate at nextforautism.org. Apart from their delicious ice cold refreshing mountain water, the other thing I love the most about Liquid Death is how much they don't give a fuck if I swear during the ad. They don't care what I do. I'm chomping on gum like a cow. So Dad, Big Ed, plug your ears because I'm about to seize the fucking day and let the curse words fly as I talk to you about one of my favorite brands, Liquid fucking Death. Damn, this feels good. They make funny ass commercials. The cans are cold as fucking hell. The most badass way to drink water and stay hydrated is to drink Liquid fucking Death. Liquid Death water doesn't fuck around. Liquid Death also doesn't fuck around when it comes to sugar. Their soda flavored sparkling water and iced teas have way less sugar than other brands. And I shit you not. Their cans say death to plastic because Liquid Death cans are infinitely recyclable. Infinitely. Okay, Dad, you can come back. Liquid Death is available nationwide, literally fucking anywhere you shop for water or iced teas. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Sorry again, Dad. And for all the Not Gonna Lie listeners, they're giving $2 off any 2 6-packs. Just go to liquiddeath.com/Kylie for details. She's the former First Lady of the United States. She led public health and education initiatives like the Let's Move campaign and Reach Higher. She's currently the founder of the Girls Opportunity Alliance. She's also an author, podcaster, wife, and a mother. I cannot believe I'm saying this right now. Michelle Obama, welcome to Not Gonna Lie.
Hey, Kylie, look at you.
I'm not going to lie, Mrs. Obama. This is a pretty surreal moment for me. I feel like we manifested this a little bit.
I think so. That's how it works, right?
Yes. But I have always been such a fan of just sort of the way that you carry yourself and it in sort of the election cycle and where it hit in my life. It was like the first time I was able to register to vote at 18.
Wow.
Was the first election that I was able to vote for your husband, but then seeing you as a powerful figure alongside him as a partner was like such an outstanding image of like female empowerment. And I just remember that at like 18 years old, that it sits in my brain really heavily. So I'm so excited to get to talk to you. I want to start off by talking about something that you just announced, and I'm so excited for you. You have a brand new podcast with your brother Craig called IMO.
Yes, I'm following in your footsteps. I mean, you're killing the game out here.
I don't know about that, but we're winging it.
Yeah, well, that's the fun part of podcasting.
It is.
It's, this is the first time we've entered into this space in a major way. I did a podcast after my first book, Becoming, which was really based more on the sort of focus of the book, the story of my life in the White House. But this is a bit different because it's a lot more free flowing. IMO, it's in my opinion. So, I mean, I think a lot like you, it's like you're finding they have a lot of questions. Times are uncertain. People are always looking for some kind of answers because I think we think someone's got wisdom out there. And it eases our minds, I think, if we can just talk about this stuff.
Now, how far apart in age are you and your brother?
We're about a year and a half, so we're really,
that's so awesome.
Yeah, we're close. We've been close from the very beginning, and we also just lost our mom about a year ago, and so it's kind of strange that we are now the elders. I mean, when you lose both your parents, and we lost our dad earlier. We were both in our 20s when my dad died, and my mom has held it down for us through all these crazy parts in our lives, the White House years. She got us through those years. But when you lose your parent, you're always kind of wondering, what on earth do I know? my mom is not here anymore. And, I don't know about you, but I'm just now feeling kind of like an adult that knows something,
But
and
does it not feel like it's all of the wisdom that she has imparted on you?
it's there, but until you activate it, you don't realize that it's just been there
The whole
brewing
time.
all along. I find that I'm having that conversation with the girls now. I mean, my girls are, they're adults. They're living on their own, if you can believe that, going from these little girls that people saw on the stage at the first inauguration. They're grown women in the world, but a lot of our conversation now is like, when do you feel like an adult? When does it
Yes.
happen? They think like, is there the magic switch that makes you say, yeah, I'm adulting? And I was like, no.
Yeah, I
It-
haven't. It's not there. I still on my fourth child, I'm like, how am I old enough to have 4 kids?
And when you leave the hospital with that baby, you think, are you guys for real? You're letting us,
No
me
one's going to
and
monitor
guy,
this? Yes.
and you're going to let us get in a car with this precious baby?
Yes.
I think the sadness or the postpartum that I felt with my kids really came from, like, you love these babies so much. Immediately you're connected and you think, oh my God, all you have is me.
Yes.
I feel so bad for you. I wish you had a parent.
Right?
You deserve more because I don't know anything. And now I'm in charge.
This is like my inner dialogue.
It is, and you're doing it a 4th time. I just had to stop. I was like, I think I've been lucky with these 2. Barack was like, we should have a 3rd. And I was like, dude.
Well, 2 good sleepers, I'd call it too.
I'm thinking we're going to get a crazy one.
That's
It's
it.
just the roll of the dice. So I admire your courage. You're on number 4, and
Yes.
you don't know what you're going to get.
No, it's always a toss-up. I call our first initiation because she didn't sleep for the first 6 months of her life unless she was touching another human being. I'm like, maybe that's why I keep going. I'm like, that was bad. I got through it. It is always a toss-up. You're like, I don't know what this one's going to be like.
Yeah.
We're about to find out.
And they show you pretty early. They're like,
right away.
I have an attitude.
That's it. Our oldest, I still remember the second day in the hospital, we had all the grandparents were in the room and she just decided to let her rip. She was screaming at the top of her lungs and I was laying in the bed as a first time mom, like, how do I stop it?
Where's the off button here?
And all the grandparents were like, and no one knew they were like, do we intervene? What happens here? And that was the moment I was like, yep.
No one knows what they're doing.
No,
Right.
but she's taught me a level of patience I didn't know I had. And she's like, she's going to rule the world. She's going to, I'm excited to see what she does.
Yeah. And you have girls too. All girls.
All girls.
That's because that's what your husband deserved.
Yes.
Something in his life. That's what I told Barack. It was like, the karma was like, dude, you need a bunch of women in your life
to take care of you
around.
That's it.
No, to do a little smacking around.
When I say
right?
take care of you, I mean like handle you. Yes, like handle you. People kept sending me a clip online. Someone, there was a news outlet that did a report on girl dads and how they live longer.
Yeah.
And I was like, of course they do.
They
have women being like, are you serious right now?
Are you going out like that?
Yeah. What are you doing?
Are you going to say that?
Are you okay? Get it together. Yep. He now has 5 of us.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. He and Barack need to talk.
That's it. Now, you, of course, raised your daughters in the White House.
Yes. Woo.
I don't know about you, but my kids draw on the couches, the walls, the stairs, everywhere. Did you have any moments in the White House where, like, your girls were true kids and you were like, oh, crap?
Yeah, because, they they've lived in the White House longer than they lived anywhere. I mean, they grew up in the White House. All right. So you're thinking the little years, like when you have full control, the younger years when you have control, and the worst thing that they do is write on a wall.
Draw on surfaces.
Yeah. My kids were teenagers in the White House.
Yes.
I mean, those years were just like, okay. You want to go where and do what? And there's prom, and you've got to learn how to drive, and you have to be normal, and you're going to a party, and was there alcohol, and you have agents, and now you have a boyfriend, and trying to do all that, right? And allow them to be normal kids, right? Just the process of making sure they knew how to drive when they have been driven by men in armored cars with guns, because they had full details,
right,
their whole life. And so I'm trying to make sure, because at the end of this 8 years, they don't continue to live that life. So when we entered, I'm thinking, how do I make sure that they're normal and ready when this is all over, right? And they have to get on a bus and make their own plane reservations and live in an apartment and have decent friends and be sane in the world. And you start realizing that in the teen years, because I wanted to give my girls enough rope to live and be normal teenagers. But I was also worrying about them turning up on page 6 because they were doing what normal kids would do.
Without that many eyes on them. And they grew up with social media, which was different from any other of the younger kids who had grown up in the White House. When you think of Chelsea and Amy Carter and even the Bush daughters who were in college, but it was really Chelsea and Amy who were kids, but there wasn't social media, right? There weren't cameras everywhere, every party that they'd go to, we'd have to build a real community of trust around them, so that, because I didn't want them sitting home on Saturday night, not understanding what it was like to be out and have a life before they went to college. Right. So it was really those years, that were the stressful ones.
I mean, it was like,
forget the crayon on the wall.
I'll take some crayon on the wall,
A magic eraser will handle that.
And I think Sasha was driving one time, because once they got their license, I told the agents they have to drive. Right. I'm sorry, but you only learn to drive by driving.
Yes.
You can't learn it through osmosis in the back seat of an armored car. So once they got their license, we got a car for them. And then the agents had to figure out they have to follow this teenager now to school, to parties, and it worked out. But one time, Sasha got T-boned. Literally, her car totaled. Some lady T-boned her. And you get this call that Sasha was in an accident. The car was totaled. And then I thought, ooh, I hope the lady that hit her is okay. Could you imagine, right?
Yes.
Like, you T-bone like Sasha Obama.
Yes.
And then their agents. So I'm also like thinking about them in the world, right? So, the day-to-day kind of challenges that any parent has with teenagers, we had it on 100.
Amplified.
Right. Yeah. So I longed for the days when,
I do not envy that.
Just write on the wall, will you? We can wash that off. I was so glad when we got out of the White House. Not, it was just like, I wanted them to have the freedom of not having the eyes of the world on them. I mean, they still are dealing with paparazzi and being who they are and trying to, cover up their own identity. But they got a lot of practice in those years in the White House. And so when people ask me, would I ever run? The answer is no. I mean, you then if you ask me that, then you have absolutely no idea the sacrifice that your kids make when your parents are in that role. Not only am I not interested in politics in that way, but the thought of like putting my girls back into that, that spotlight when they are just now establishing themselves. It's like, okay, I think we've done enough. Question asked and answered, never going to happen, right?
That's such a true mom answer that like, you're like, how will this impact the really your kids? And
they've already been in, they've already served their time, right?
In very formative years. And you were very tactical about how you approached that. And so to then do it again would be,
it would be unthinkable.
Nope. Nope.
Nope. Right.
I've told you guys how much I love my Liquid Death mountain water. It's because it's in a can, honestly. It's so refreshing and stays so much colder. I'm convinced. But Liquid Death has more than just water. They also have a ton of great soda-flavored sparkling waters and low-calorie iced teas. Speaking of which, another reason why I fucking love this brand. Their drinks have the best names. I have a list in front of me of every flavor, so I'm going to do what any normal sports fan would do with a list, and we're going to rank them. Within the soda-flavored sparkling water, Dr. Death. I mean, does it get more aggressive than that? Squeezed to Death also is a great one. And let's be real, Killer Cola. Get straight for it. In terms of the teas, I personally really enjoy Rest in Peach. I think it sounds dark and delightful all at the same time. And Slaughterberry. Because if you can put the name Slaughter in anything, I feel like you've next leveled, like leveled up, achieved greatness. Slaughterberry. They actually printed that on a can. Just outstanding. Liquid Death is available nationwide, literally anywhere you shop for water or iced tea. And for all the not gonna lie listeners, that's right, bargains. They're giving $2 off any 2 6-packs. Just go to liquiddeath.com/Kylie for details. One of the reasons you're someone I look up to so much is because you're the perfect example of a woman making a name for herself beyond what her husband does for work. So I'm such a supporter of your Let's Move campaign and the work you did to promote healthy eating and exercise for kids, because obviously being someone who was physically active growing up, I really saw a point in eating healthy, fueling your body, and focusing on just moving. Mm-hmm. Why was that cause so important to you?
Well, I experienced the challenges in this environment of fast food and more sedentary lifestyles and all that my generation of parents were facing that was new, that was leading to a childhood obesity crisis. It was real, and I saw it early on as a working mom with my husband traveling. He was a state senator when the kids were little, then he was a U.S. senator. So he would, like I had a husband that had to travel a lot, and I had a full-time job. So when you're not a single parent, but when you're,
we called football season single parent season.
Right. As a political seasoned single parent, right?
Yes.
You're relying on juice boxes, doing a lot of processed stuff, trying to get things quick and easy. And I saw the effects on my daughter, primarily Malia at the time, because the doctors were saying, whoa, let's make sure that we're thinking about her diet in a way that I hadn't, I was buying what was being sold to me, right? The conveniences of parenthood, right? And that had an effect. So we started making changes that were really simple, no sugary drinks. We had the kids drinking milk and water. They were always active. We cut out all processed foods, no more cheese dust in a box. If you were going to have macaroni and cheese, it would be real pasta, real cheese, just small common changes. And within months, her health numbers flipped. And I thought, oh my God, here I am, this highly educated person out in the world with all these degrees. And I didn't realize that we were facing this kind of dilemma. And I thought, now this should be something that everyone should be able to get behind, creating a healthier generation. Because I was also thinking about my platform, and it's like, okay, I don't want to do something divisive. My husband's going to be pushing healthcare. I was trying to be strategic about aligning my agenda with something that was important to the West Wing. And I thought, there's no way that anyone is going to take issue with trying to make school lunches healthier, getting kids more active, really just trying to make the next generation healthier than ours. And boy, was I wrong, which is really interesting in these times with the current, Secretary of Health and Human Services, who is now saying some of the same things that I was saying. But it became a partisan issue. People were telling me that, I'm trying to be the nanny state, and I'm trying to control what our kids are eating and telling them what's good for them and what's not good for them. Now, eventually we got a lot done. We were able to improve the nutrition standards, the labels, so that they were more readable, so that parents could really understand the breakdown of fat and sugar, and it was clear. We got the school nutrition standards improved in our schools for the first time in like 50 years. There hadn't been any updates. And we were really focused on making it fun, getting kids active, reminding parents that, we got to make exercise fun. So we had a lot of amazing partnerships with the NFL, and, we broke the Guinness World Record. I planted a garden to, try to get people more focused on making vegetables a little more fun and interesting for kids. But it was all about really dealing with a real health crisis that at the time, a lot of people didn't take seriously.
I think it also is so important to take your own life experience to see that switch with Malia, and it makes that sort of messaging and effort more authentic. And I feel like people can tell when you authentically feel passionate about something.
Absolutely.
So that, I still remember the different initiatives you guys did and programs.
Travis Kelce is coming back for another season with the Kansas City Chiefs, and apparently Taylor Swift is super supportive of the choice. A source tells Page Six that Taylor and Travis definitely discussed Travis' potential retirement as a couple, and that Tay wanted him to continue playing. She didn't want Travis to retire, the insider says. She wanted him to go out on a high note. Meanwhile, Taylor will of course support Travis in the stands during the 2025 to 2026 NFL season, though she typically only attends home games at Arrowhead Stadium for security reasons. Travis spoke about his decision to return for another season on New Heights, saying, "I think the biggest thing is that I fucking love playing the game of football. I love playing. I still feel like I can play at a high level. And possibly at a higher level than I did last year. I don't think it was my best outing. I let my guys down in a lot more moments than I helped them, especially if you look at my track record and how I've been in years past. I just, I want to give it a good run." He added that he had a bad taste in my mouth after the Chiefs' Super Bowl loss, and said, "I love so many people in Kansas City. It's home for me now. I don't want to leave that life yet. I put in a lot of hard work and I put in a lot of focus into being the best that I can for KC, and last year it didn't end well for us. I feel like there's a responsibility in me to play out the contract that I initially signed. To give Kansas City and the Chiefs organization everything that I got, and that's what I'm gonna do, man."